Chapter 42. Packing. By the end of the summer, Sean had finalized plans for moving to Edmonton with me. Mom wasn't too happy I was going so far away, but my grades in the business program I was taking made it an easier pill for her to swallow. Sean's mom had a legit binder of Sean's healthcare needs for me, as I would be helping him transition to hopefully walking again and getting him into physio and class. I had packed up my room for the most part, a handful of books on my laptop, and a large messenger bag, and the rest of my bare essentials squeezed into one suitcase. I brought my skateboard, just in case. Sean had two suitcases, a carry-on for a flight, one being his clothes and the other his computer carefully wrapped in more clothes and other fabric goods. I had never seen his home setup before, but I swear he cared more about the PC than the underwear his mom was concerned about. Jay drove us to Moncton Airport in his truck so we could fit all the luggage in Sean's wheelchair in the back. The trip was long and necessitated Sean sitting in the middle, with his legs crossed over mine for the trip. It was a bit cramped, but almost comfortable. I'd fallen asleep at one point, and Jay hit a bump on the road. Bang! My head glanced out the window, and for a brief of seconds, I thought I was back in the moving truck. The smell of the gas station snacks in the interior of the truck sent my mind back to a year before Mom and I moved up. The moving vehicle caused my eyes to spin, and I closed them tight, trying to get my bearings again. "You okay there, Chris?" Jay asked. "Yeah," I said. And when I opened my eyes, I didn't just see the cramped truck cab and my friends. I saw the little pieces of family that I had found moving here. I would miss this, the trucks and shotgun shells, the chip seal and trees, the false crowds that the country school gave the impression of, and the girl I fell for but lost without even trying. And now, I was stuck in a truck with two guys. I was trying desperately not to show the tears that were welling up inside. We got to the airport and extricated Sean from the cab. We got in for an early flight that would get us to Edmonton late that night. Jay pulled us into a big hug and then bent down and gave one to Sean. Sean pushed him off, but then smiled and thanked him for the ride. We passed through security and the metal detectors going off at Sean's chair and 1,000 pins still holding his legs together. I really shouldn't have laughed like I did, but it was damn funny. Boarded the plane first. One of, if not the only benefit of being hit by a car, Sean mentioned, and we took off from New Brunswick. The flight was long. I got caught up in the sleep that I didn't get the night before, to the airy sound of the interior of a plane. Landing was a bit rough, but after waiting for the rest of the passengers to leave, I helped Sean with his exit. We went to go find our luggage. Finally, after what ended up being 16 hours of travel, we got to our new apartment. A condo-like building on campus with students moving in even as the night crept into the city. We found the administrator to get our student passes, syllabi, a map, and got the keys to our room on the way up. Third floor, just high enough to avoid the main floor businesses and just low enough to not have to worry about Sean when he was walking again. The city was new and exciting, but familiar to me in a strange way. The orange and white glow of the street lights made me feel at home, even though the only familiar thing in the dorm room was Sean. It was busy and active and blissfully distracting. I called Mom once we got to the phone figured out, and midnight approached, and we lazily watched YouTube videos on Sean's computer. "Yes, I'm fine, Mom. Plane was good. The taxi was good. Everything was good," I said, answering the barrage of questions from my mom. "It's not good, Mrs. Weeks. My legs are still broken," Sean hollered so that Mom could hear him. "I thought Chris was going to fix that." "Sean's good, too. We're going to figure out classes first thing. Love you, Mom. Bye," I said, hanging up the phone before she could ask another question about our goodness. "See, this is why I email my parents. Much easier to control the length of conversations," Sean said. "A lot less sentimentalism." "You'll pay for that lack of sentiment come Christmas," I argued. "Worth it," Sean said smugly from his chair. "You think we'll miss our folks?" I asked. "I know we don't now, but you think we will later?" "Chris," Sean said, giving me a sarcastic and unenthused look. "Fine, you robot. I'll miss him for both of us." This seemed to make Sean happy, and we laughed at the quirky lack of emotions. We continued to watch a prank video compilations and funny videos on Sean's computer monitor. We called it a night around midnight, and 2 more days before classes required attendance. Figured out the city and how we would get Sean around until he could walk again. Sean had me put an extra blanket up to keep the orange city glow lights out of his bedroom. He was used to the darkness of the country at night, and I didn't know that he was going to sleep with that much light pollution. "How do you city people deal with this?" he said, and I just laughed. I, however, basked in the glow. It was a strange indulgence of mine, but I had slept with my blinds up and lights off, letting the glow of the city lights light up my room. It was intrusive. It wasn't intrusive. It was familiar. I loved it. I loved it like a favorite couch or a pillow. There would be times where I missed the massive blackness of rural New Brunswick sky at night, but for now, I was too familiar not to enjoy. It was a long day, but a good one. For the first time in a while, I couldn't wait for the morning, and there was something to look forward to, like the hints of the outside city lights kept on all night. Chapter 42. Hope you guys liked it. Links to the book are in the descriptions below.